Hi, dear children. Welcome to the new chapter Organisms and Populations. In this chapter, we are going to learn about ecology, the different levels of ecology, how the biotic components and the abiotic components in an ecosystem interact with each other. We're going to learn about populations, the different types of population growth, the different types of age groups in a particular population, and also we are going to study about the different types of positive and negative interactions within a population. So let's begin with the first module on organisms and population. What is ecology? Ecology is a very common term to us. Ecology is the study of different interactions among organisms and between the organisms and its physical environment or the abiotic environment. There are two components in a particular ecosystem, the living and the non-living. The living components are called as the very good, they are called as the biotic components, and the non-living are called as the abiotic components. So how the living components are interacting among themselves and also among the different and also with the different abiotic components in a particular environment. Let us learn with the help of an example. Let's take an example of a tiger or a lion. What does a tiger or a lion feed on? Can the lion or tiger live alone in the forest? No. They have to depend on other organisms for its source of food. For example, think about the deer, which is a source of food for the lion or tiger. Is the deer self-sufficient? No. It is also dependent on the plants. Then is a plant self-sufficient? No. It has to depend upon the atmosphere in order to obtain carbon dioxide and also oxygen. It has to depend upon water sources. It has to depend upon the soil for recycling of nutrients. In the similar way, all the other organisms like deer, tiger, lion, they are dependent upon water, oxygen, nutrients, so on. So each and every organism, they are interdependent on other organism and also with their physical environment. And that is a study called as ecology. Ecology is concerned with four levels of biological organizations. We have to study ecology in four levels. Which are the four levels? Organisms, populations, communities, and biomes. When we take the first level of organization, that is organism, it is a wider aspect. When we take organism, it ranges from the bacteria, the simplest form, that is bacteria, which is made up of only a single cell, to the most complicated multicellular organism like an elephant, like a whale, like a shark, or human beings, lion, tiger. And in between these extremes, there are many organisms occupying different levels of organization: cellular, tissue, organ system. So that's about organism. And organism level is a basic unit of study of ecology. When we take an organism, each organism has its own specific structure and function. And organisms of the same type, they have the potential to interbreed and give rise to a species. That's about organism. And what comes next to organism? It is a population. So a group of organisms belonging to the same species and inhabiting a particular area is called as a population, and they form the basic unit of a biotic community. So a group of organisms of the same species occupying a particular habitat is called as population. Then what is communities? They are a higher ecological category next to population. It is a group of different species, a population of different species occupying a particular habitat at a particular region. So biotic community, it results from the interaction and interdependence of populations of different species in a particular habitat. The last or the highest ecological category is the biome. Biome is a large regional unit which has a particular vegetation type. And in that particular vegetation type, there is associated fauna. And this fauna is living inside this particular vegetation, occupying a particular climatic zone. So in a particular biome, there are number of communities which have developed, which have been modified, all the occurring communities in inhabiting a particular climatic zone is called as a biome. For example, a forest biome, a grassland biome, all these are examples of biomes. So these are the four levels of ecological organization. That's organisms, populations, communities, and biomes. So let's learn about organism and its environment. When we consider physiological ecology, that is ecology at the organism level, it is a study of adaptation of an organism to its environment in terms of survival and reproduction. How an organism is interacting with its environment so that the organism can survive and reproduce is what we learn in physiological ecology. Now let us learn how the biomes and different habitats within a biome is formed. The rotation of the earth and the tilt of its axis, it causes variation in temperature and thus variation in seasons. And these variations in temperature and seasons along with the variation in precipitation causes the formation of different biomes like the tundras, the rainforest, the grasslands, the forest, deserts. These are the reason for the different biomes that are formed. And regional and local variations within a particular biome that occupies a particular climatic zone. The variation, the regional and the local variation within a biome leads to the formation of different habitats within a biome. So what are different biome distribution with respect to the annual temperature and precipitation? They are the deserts, the grasslands, the tropical forest, the temperate forest, the coniferous forest, and the Arctic and alpine tundras. So the biome distribution is shown in this graph with respect to the annual temperature and precipitation. The life exists in the most extreme and harsh habitats. For example, which are the different harsh habitats like the Rajasthan desert, rain-soaked Meghalaya forest, deep ocean trenches, torrential streams, permafrost polar regions, high mountain tops, thermal springs, compost pits, and even our intestine harbors many microbes. So, life is occurring in all the harsh habitats. We know an ecosystem is composed of biotic and abiotic components. The abiotic components, that is the physiochemical components of an ecosystem, are water, light, temperature, soil, etc. And the biotic components, what are the biotic components which are present in an ecosystem? They are the pathogens, the parasites, predators, competitors, etc. And these two components, as the biotic and the abiotic components, leads to variation of different habitats and the distinct role and position of an organism in its environment. What is an organism? What is the role of the organism in an environment? And what is the position an organism holds in an environment? And that is called as a niche. And by this niche, within this niche, each organism tolerates various conditions, utilizes various resources, and thus it is able to survive and reproduce in an environment.